Okay, hello. Sorry guys, took a while longer. I was scrambling a bit, trying to get food and like a drink of choice. Got my juvie for the day. Ew. Hi Vicky. Jess, Jamie, thank you so much for the 27 months. Welcome back, Dorky Porky. Thank you so much for the 5 months. Thank you. It is almost like I'm streaming twice in a day. Late last night, in the morning. Harry, thanks for 60 months. Welcome back. Thanks. It's a sriracha shirt. And are we still in the shortage? I slept a whopping, like, not gonna lie, I'm a little delirious, but I feel like, what time did I sleep? Maybe like, I tried to sleep early, but it was really hard. I think like 3, 2, and then I probably got up around like 9. Which tongue scraper should I buy at Walmart? The one that has the color that you like the most. I would personally get a nice pink one. Hi there, good morning. I know. No, there's a shortage, but I actually just saw at the market that there was a lot of sriracha. So I feel like maybe they're not in a shortage anymore. I don't know. Any people, any sriracha enthusiasts that know out there? TFT? You guys want TFT? I was honestly kind of on a league grind. Is it so bad? That's it. $9 a bottle? I think that's pretty normal. Yeah, Ari, is that acceptable? Ari, what do you play in League? A League redemption arc? Hell yeah. It's kind of crazy because most people before would be like, League was the regular thing. And then later it just started being TFT. Make my own sauce at this point. So what was the... Okay, hold on. We can watch the news. I think the sriracha shortage was because of... And correct me if I'm wrong. But it's like the factory that they get the chili peppers from or something. I thought it was because they tried to like like they did one of their partners dirty in terms of like the person who gets some like the red chilies or whatever it was, and so they had to find another factory, another place to get stuff from. Sriracha shortage. How did it happen? All right, we're gonna watch a video on how it happened. All right, and this will solve all the mysteries today.
Here's one of the most recognizable hot sauces in America used this ranch to source its peppers. Craig Underwood supplied sriracha's primary ingredient and helped usher a simple family business into a multi-million-dollar international
I think I remember that.
brand.
Our production increased, you know, there were several years, 2 or 3 years, when it was increasing by 40 or 50% a year, to the point where in 2015 we had 2,000 acres of jalapenos, and we delivered 100 million pounds. We were delivering 50 truck and trailer loads every day for 10 weeks.
Today, Huey Fung Foods, the most popular maker of sriracha, controls a 6.3% share of the entire hot sauce market. That is the third largest of any individual company in the U.S. In 2020, the company generated nearly $131 million in revenue.
Oh my God.
But the relationship between Underwood Ranches and Huey Fung Foods ended in 2017. And over the past few years, the spicy sauce has been hard to come by.
I know,
Prices have skyrocketed as third-party sellers are one of the few places the condiment can still be found. A 2-pack of 17-ounce bottles is going for as much as $70 on Amazon.
Supply chain and weather-related issues could make it hard to find sriracha hot sauce this summer.
Now the company says they still don't know when their supply will bounce back.
I visited 6 different grocery stores in New York City and I called another 10.
Yeah,
Hi, do you
find
carry
it.
Huey Fong sriracha sauce?
Oh no, it's been out of stock for like 2 months already.
I know.
I even checked
But they have
local
it back at the
inventories
market
on
now.
Instacart, and Huey Fong sriracha sauce
James.
was nowhere to be found. The bottles right in front of me came from the refrigerators of members of the CNBC digital video team. Sriracha is made of 5 main
What?
ingredients: garlic, vinegar, salt, sugar, and red jalapeno chili peppers.
This guy out here
And
trying to make
without
his
those
sriracha
peppers,
sauce.
There's no sauce.
The company declined CNBC's request for an interview, but for years, the sriracha maker has pointed to poor weather conditions affecting the quality of its peppers, and therefore creating a shortage. But the story's a lot more
Yeah, I heard that's not
complicated.
true.
Craig Underwood tells me that if there hadn't been a legal battle, there would not be a jalapeno shortage for Huey Fong. We would have plenty of sriracha. Given my past
Good
experience with
morning.
him, I have no reason to doubt that.
CNBC visited Underwood Ranches, the farm who worked with the sriracha maker for nearly 3 decades to dig into what's really happened to the beloved Rooster Bottle hot sauce. On July 24, 2020, Huey Fong Foods sent an email to customers that it was experiencing inventory shortages of the chili peppers used in its products and warned of manufacturing delays. The company currently sources its peppers from farms in California, New Mexico, and Mexico.
The fact that other crops are more profitable. Jalapeno production really is very limited in California, close to this processing
Explain the
plant.
shortage while
And even
squirting
here
a
in
whole
New
bottle on
Mexico,
camera.
around
Thanks,
us,
Rubber.
We don't
Hi,
grow
you.
very many jalapenos.
Good
Most
morning,
of them that are
Corey.
processed are actually procured from
You
growers
don't
in
know?
Mexico.
Sriracha's kind of like, it's like a hot sauce, a hot chili sauce. Extremely popular. Like a lot of Vietnamese or Chinese, like generally a lot of restaurants just have it on hand. It's like a really good consistent hot sauce. It has a really good level of spice that it's just not too spicy, where it's probably one of the most popular ones. Is it the most popular ones? How popular is Tabasco in comparison? Maybe, I'm not sure, but it has like a really good balance of flavor and how hot it is. And because I typically can't handle hot sauce that well, but I could have sriracha and still somewhat enjoy it if I don't put too much of it. And then people who like more hot, they could just add more of it. So I don't know.
This region has been experiencing an extreme drought. For
I would say it's a
number of
perfect
years
level
now.
of hot
These
sauce.
peppers are typically
like-
grown
for, like, the
under
average
irrigation.
person.
So when you don't have rainfall and an adequate source of water to irrigate,
There's definitely gonna be people who
you
are
end
like,
up
oh,
with
it's
a
not hot
failure.
enough or anything. But I think for the
The company
average
released a
person,
follow-up statement in April of 2022, reiterating its
Damn.
supply shortages.
It may be
on
not a hot sauce summer for sriracha fans.
Plus, how climate change could affect the condiments at your July 4th cookout.
Huey Fong said a year ago
Oh, yeah,
that
it's like
they were
garlicky. There's
hopeful
garlic.
the shortage of 2022 would end in September. But here we are in the summer of 2023, and it's happening all over again.
Craig Underwood says he's been sourcing jalapeno peppers from Mexico for years, and the California drought had no impact on his ability to grow the crop.
Yeah.
The area where Craig was growing those peppers had one of the most stable water supplies in the entire state.
Oh, he was
We
saying
had
that it's not a weather thing at all.
Production capacity.
Okay, so Sriracha Company denied interview and also said it was because of weather and other things that they had this shortage. But they're saying it's because of the lawsuit that they had or like all this kind of stuff.
2015 for 100 million
And that the
pounds.
peppers were fine.
Today,
it was just more so
we would still have that capacity and more. There would be no
agreement
problem
between
supplying all the
consistent
peppers that
supplier.
we needed if we were still producing them.
Yeah, I think if you should try it. Just try a little bit at first. If you don't have much of a spice tolerance, and you'll kind of be able to gauge.
In 1975, David Tran began making
The new
sauces from
Tabasco
peppers grown by
version
his
of
brother on a
sriracha?
farm
No,
north
they
of
have
the
a
city
Tabasco
formerly known as
version?
Saigon, Vietnam. Tran decorated the caps of the sauce jars with a rooster logo because it was his astrological sign. Just 4 years
that's
later,
where the
Tran
rooster
left for
came
Boston
from.
on a ship named the Huey Fong Freighter. Tran founded Huey Fong Foods in Los Angeles' Chinatown and then moved operations to a factory in Rosemead.
Los Angeles,
In
Chinatown.
2013, the company moved to a new $40 million plant in Irwindale, California.
American dream. He did it.
Mandy, it's the hottest hot sauce on the market, but right now it's in hot water. Sriracha maker Hui Fong Foods will be in court this.
Dude, is there a compilation? There's got to be of like news people who make puns like that, or like
Afternoon, facing off against the city
like,
of Irwindale over its new plant.
It burns your throat and your eyes a little bit. It's actually penetrating inside the homes. You walk in and you can smell the chili inside the homes as well.
But that case was dropped the following year in May of 2014.
Wait, what case? What was
Eventually,
the
Sriracha maker Hui Fong Foods will be in court this afternoon, facing off against the city of Irwindale over its new plant.
It burns your throat and your eyes a little bit. It's actually penetrating inside the homes. You
What are
walk
they
in
talking
and you
about?
can
What's
smell
penetrating?
the chili inside the homes as well.
But that case was dropped the following year in May of 2014.
Eventually, Irwindale realized, you know, we don't have a lot of industry in Irwindale, and here is this huge plant that's doing big business.
As the company resumed
from the factory, like when they said that he moved into like a factory, like a
and
production
continued to amp up production, it needed more of its most important ingredient, peppers.
Those peppers look
Huey
so
Fong Foods has
nice.
built
Like
its
they look
empire producing only
so
3
well grown
sauces.
and juicy.
Their chili garlic is a chunky
I don't even
hot
like
sauce
peppers.
full of garlic flavor, while their most popular sauce, sriracha, is a smooth paste.
I love
their third
the-
offering
I
is
like
called
the garlic
Sambal
sauce
Oelek,
of that.
and it has
It's
no
pretty good.
flavors added to those pure chili peppers. We couldn't seem to get a hold of that sauce.
Ooh, spicy air. Oh, spicy air. Hi, Jamie. Good morning.
In 1988, Craig Underwood wrote a letter to David Tran.
And I said, you know, would you like us to grow some jalapeno peppers? And he wrote back and said, yes. So we grew 50 acres for him that year.
As sriracha became so popular, David Tran wanted more and more peppers. So Craig started clearing out all kinds of other crops that he'd been growing to make room for jalapenos. I covered agriculture for CNBC. I knew Craig for years. He was doing all kinds of things out there. So he was trying to grow more and more peppers.
It was even named Bon Appetit's Ingredient of the Year in 2009.
We go back.
We were sourcing the seed, we were trialing the varieties, we were growing the crop, building the equipment, harvesting it. We had to provide or secure all the transportation to get the peppers to the plant. We were scheduling it. Those are all processes that normally a processor would do. We did those for Hui Fong.
By 2013, the hot sauce maker's annual revenue reached $85 million.
That's crazy.
But within a few years, the relationship between Huey Fong and Underwood Ranches began to fall apart.
At the end of 2016, we were pretty sure we had an agreement going forward because we were always planning 3 years ahead. We were securing
3 years
land,
ahead.
hiring people, building equipment.
That makes sense.
But court documents show that in 2016, the sriracha maker made an agreement with Underwood Ranches to purchase 1,700 acres worth of peppers for $13,000 per acre.
Well, then according to Craig, David Tran reneged on that deal. So he had all these peppers and no one all of a sudden to sell them to.
Tran breached multiple financial agreements, including failure to pay an advance of $18 million.
Wow.
He began the formation of a new company called Chilico. Its goal was to source peppers for Huey Fong from different farmers.
If there's a good year for jalapenos, if we don't have diseases, if we don't lose fields to weather-related conditions, then we may have an overabundance. So I believe that that's what was going on when they decided to look for other supplies that were cheaper than what they were purchasing from Underwood Farms.
So
and I guess they'd hoped that that would continue, but it doesn't.
Wait.
They decided to look for other supplies that were cheaper than what they were purchasing from Underwood Farms. And I guess they'd hoped that that would continue, but it doesn't.
The jury found that Huey Fong never intended to buy Underwood's 2017 crop supply.
What was a wonderful relationship.
Okay, yeah. So he basically just did not, he did not think this one through. Why would you? He just like in the moment wanted to still get these peppers from him while trying to see if he could, but But did it go into like the contract duration, the new contract duration? Lemonade, or like how did it work exactly? Yeah, so he tried to look for a bunch of other little suppliers to get it for cheaper, like all these peppers and stuff, right? But I just want to know the timing for that. Like, did you do it, try to by outsourcing? Yeah. But while you're having this contract ahead of time already happening? He signed the contract. Okay, and then found out he could get it cheaper. Did not honor the original contract. That's crazy. How is it possible for you to sign something in business like that and then just be like, oh, never mind? It just said the jury didn't reasonably believe there was a contract, no? I thought there was
a relationship between this business built by this immigrant and this agricultural family that had been for generations growing food in Southern California turned into a horrible, ugly legal fight.
Pivoting. Break your contracts. Increases acres devoted to growing those peppers for him. I just think if you've had such like a long-standing relationship, unless they try to increase the prices that much of the peppers where you're like, fuck, like they're too expensive, or like you're kind of, it's off-putting that they increase the pricing of the peppers like that. But if it had been the same, or if it's like, you know, not that much of an increase and you guys are still good and you had this like great relation and everything's going good, I feel like in business that is so much more valued than saving like a buck or two on trying to make, unless it's not really that much of a buck or two. But I think it's very rare to find like very good business partners, and once you've had like that type of relationship for a very long time, it's like, why compromise either the relationship or the quality? Like, if you know the peppers are good and like consistent and this guy is literally like gonna have more acres for you, it feels kind of BM.
The maker decided to terminate its relationship with Underwood Ranches long before the end of the 2016 harvest, and even flew a drone over Underwood's crops to share his methodology with other growers.
Whoa, that is actually so BM.
To terminate its relationship with Underwood Ranches long before the end of the 2016 harvest, and even flew a drone over Underwood's crops to share his methodology with other growers.
It was an espionage operation concealed as just, you know, gathering more information.
Is that legal? Is it? You can do that? Oh my god.
The company wrote in an Instagram post on March 28th, 2019.
In 2019, a jury determined that Hui Fong breached his contract with Underwood, also committed fraud. So they did have to pay up $23.3 million.
Underwood Ranches, who had made high profits with its relationship with Huey Fong, decided to stop growing chili peppers for Huey Fong without any warning.
In the end, Craig Underwood won a $23 million judgment from a jury that was in Ventura County in his backyard. But he also had to pay David Tran back the $1.5 million that Huey Fong says they overpaid. It was a much bigger win for Underwood Farms. It was a much bigger loss for Huey Fong Foods. David Tran appealed. Craig even won on appeal.
Since the verdict, Underwood Ranches started growing a number of crops besides peppers.
We didn't have much to grow on that land, but in the intervening years, we've taken on a lot of contracts. This year we're growing almost 1,000 acres of cannery tomatoes.
I mean, yeah,
With nearly 30 years of industry knowledge, it was only natural for Underwood Ranches to begin making its own, yup, you guessed it, sriracha.
So this is the first sriracha that we developed. This was actually the first sauce as well. This is made with the
wild.
same exact peppers
Oh my
that we used
god.
for Huey Fong for 28 years.
Sriracha isn't a trademark, so Huey Fong can't prevent competitors from creating a similar chili pepper sauce.
That's crazy.
We call it sriracha, but it needs to taste like sriracha. Basically, the base of sriracha is you've got your vinegar, you've got your garlic, you got your jalapeno notes to it.
Yeah,
And like
that's it.
Underwood Ranches, there are a
Good
variety
woman.
of other brands that sell sriracha sauces in stock at most grocery stores.
Yeah, it's like a
Hot sauce
variations
is,
of
after
it.
all, a $2.6 billion industry and has grown at an average rate of 2.5%.
Oh my god, it
over
only
the past 5
increases?
years.
You know what helps grow this? Those hot sauce challenges. All the content creators.
Most interesting is whenever there's a story on either the internet
No,
or
it's like
on,
barely
let's say,
anything, but-
Reddit. Our computers basically break down
Command
from
version
all the orders
really
coming
is
online.
good.
People understanding the relationship of what we had and that we
The
were the
packaging
original
could use
grower.
some work though.
Since Underwood Ranches has diversified its crop production while simultaneously producing its own hot sauce, it has needed to purchase peppers from external sources to
Did
keep
they really need to put the dragon on it? Like a fucking like creature of the Chinese culture or something?
up with supply needs.
We've been getting jalapeno peppers
Jesus
out of Mexico for
In case
many
you didn't
years.
know.
We've had no problem getting peppers.
Jalapenos
Asian,
are a
by
tricky
the way.
crop to grow, so it really requires some know-how about the best way to establish your
Ooh, it
stands.
tastes says,
So
yeah.
if you have someone who's inexperienced, who's trying to grow jalapenos
I don't think I
or other
eat
types of
sriracha
peppers
enough
for the
though to
first
like
time,
taste test
they
it.
absolutely
I've
get
had it,
crop
but if you
failure
ask me
when
to
their
like
neighbors are
remember the
doing
taste
great.
distinctly, I don't think I can. Honestly,
The relationship
sriracha
between
bottle is so
Underwood and
iconic.
Tran may be
The
irreparable,
green
but
cap
consumer demand for
with
sriracha
the
is only
rooster.
getting bigger. Domestic hot sauce industry revenue is
I like the
expected to
packaging,
continue
how
growing
it's,
at an average rate of 1.5%.
doesn't have like a
reaching
giant paper
$2.8
label on
billion
it.
in 2028.
The tough thing is that, there really isn't a short-term solution here. Companies and agribusinesses are going to have to rethink.
Make your own hot sauce.
how
Yeah,
they
you
source
can make
their
the hot
products.
sauce tailored to you.
These
Like
new grower relations that the
a lot of people make their
processors
own
have
spicy like
established,
chili oil.
come through for them. I do think that they'll be able to do a full pack of the sriracha sauce this year, and so hopefully this will be the last year of the sriracha shortage.
While the sriracha shortage out of Huey Fung Foods clearly stems from a complex web of supply-related issues, consumers are seeing agricultural shocks in the food industry on a more regular basis.
I think hot sauce is one of like the easier sauces to make. Like to have your own brand and kind of have a higher chance of being successful, because like ketchup, you're so used to, there's like one way you really taste ketchup. If you have another type of ketchup, it's likely not gonna do as well because people are looking for that distinct, like specific taste. But hot sauce is so subjective, it feels more like subjective. So like based off of, or if you like more garlic, like more whatever, like it could be sweeter, it could be more spicy. Like there's way more range of it seems. So it's like easier for people to have like a different taste to it. Like ketchup, I don't feel like you can have like a slight range, but it's not as big.
We have to start investing
pink
in
sauce?
science,
What is
research,
pink
and
sauce?
technology to help mitigate
Is
the
it
effects
like
of climate
ketchup
change
and
on our
mayo,
food
or is
supply.
it sriracha mayo? Like a little bit of it. There's ketchup. What the fuck is pink sauce? Hi, Elfie. Yeah. What is pink sauce? Oh god. The fuck is this? Like it does not.
Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Anne Reardon, and this
It's
is
not
an episode
FDA
of Debunking,
approved?
where we have a look at viral videos from a week.
We got like 6 million views in less than a week.
So naturally, people were
No, I did
curious,
not.
What is making this sauce so pink if you're not using food coloring? What does it taste like?
Wait,
So
you're
she
not
decided to
using
sell the
food
sauce
coloring on this?
for $20 a bottle. And it seems like after that, everything rapidly went wrong. So let's have a look at all the claims about this sauce and see which ones are true and which ones are false. So firstly, there were claims about shipping problems. The first batch appears
She
to have been
created the the
shipped out
sauce
in
and was
thin
selling
plastic
it.
packaging, and because of that, some of the bottles are.
I mean, $20 for sauce is not like the worst. If it's like a novelty type of thing, like or like if the sauce is like, I think people would be down because you can use a sparingly smaller amount of it to make you not feel as bad for spending $20 on that. But it's just a matter of, and people would pay that for content and stuff too. It's like pink sauce, like, ooh, whatever. People pay $20 for fucking Hailey Bieber's smoothie at Erewhon so they can make TikToks out of it.
Chef P apologised and offered a refund or a new bottle, and subsequent batches were sent out in cardboard boxes instead. So yes, that was a true claim. There was issues with the packaging early on, and they seem to have been fixed fairly quickly, but it was a true claim,
saga on this
tick there as to yes for the packaging issues. Moving on to the next claim.
So first of all, 444 serving,
Gold
but
Flakes.
the serving size is 1 tablespoon. That's around 28 cups.
Wait, what? I've never seen this type of measurement. 444 servings per container. Wait, is that normal? Is that how they... Wait. Hold the phone. I'm gonna take my mustard over here. Okay, this bottle of mustard, alright, the size of my face, 79 servings per container. 1 teaspoon. They tell you 1 teaspoon. This thing, 444 servings for 1 tablespoon? I'm sorry, what in the fuck? Oh.
That label is not
so
correct.
It's gotta be 44,
is
right?
anything else on the label actually correct? There is nothing in the label about refrigeration, nor
I mean, I just think you really can't fucking typo a nutrition label though, right? Like, it's literally, like, a nutrition label is one of the most important things because people live or die based off of that for, like, yeah.
nor is there an expiration date on the label. Vinegar is also spelled incorrectly.
Vinegar is spelled incorrectly and no
Right, so there was a few things there.
There's no way this is
Let's pull up the
approved.
label and take a look.
Can you
They're
sell
right.
this?
The number of serves in this packaging is definitely wrong. As for the expiry date, it's not here, but you can see a sticker with an expiry date on the lids of some of the bottles in the review videos. So that's fine as long as it's got an expiry date on it somewhere.
That is
if we look
so
back at the nutrition
janky.
label, there are other problems here too. Like there is 0 grams of every type of fat, but that somehow adds up to 1 gram of total fat. And it says there's 3 grams.
Somebody, like, there's no scientist that worked on this sauce, but I mean, like, or yeah, math is not mathing here. Is this girl math?
Grams of total carbohydrate, but there's 11
This is
grams
girl
of
math.
sugars. That 11 grams.
There's
should
1
be
gram of
part
fat.
This total, so
That
it
just
can't
means that
be
there's
less
no
than 11.
0
It
grams
can't
of
be
fat.
3.
It's just not there.
And if we look at the fat has 9 calories per gram. There's 1 gram of fat, so that would equal.
Yeah, this is dumb fuck math. It's true. 3 grams of carbohydrates, but there's 11 grams of sugar. And the dietary fiber is only 4 grams. This doesn't make any sense. Math is really not mathing here.
9 calories. And for the carbs, let's go with the 11 grams, not the 3. There are 4 calories per gram of carbs, so that would be 44 calories. There's no protein, so 0 calories there, and that adds up to 53 calories per serve, not 90 calories. So yes, that is a fair criticism of the sauce. The labeling was completely
This is a
inaccurate
meme.
and not
This
right.
is
And
not
this was
real.
Chef
I
P's
don't
response.
believe that this is real life.
I'm only human. I'm not perfect. It's about 30 servings per container. We fix
My favorite apology from people is when they say, I'm not perfect. Like, I don't think that's ever, like, no, everyone knows that, like, a person is not perfect, but it's like, When people have to say that, or when you have to be like, yeah, I'm not perfect, it's like, no, well, like, yeah, of course no one is perfect, but like, you fucked up, you know what I mean? Like,
you guys will not be receiving pink sauce bottles with the bad label.
Apologising is a great start, but I can see with the new label that she's flashing around there, it still says 90 calories. I can't read all the details, but I can tell the nutritional information is still totally incorrect.
Like,
so if you've made an error on the label, maybe check everything with a fine tooth comb before reprinting.
just say you understand like how big of a fuck up it is. Like, I'm sorry, like, blah blah.
Yeah, it's pink.
I feel like when people say I'm not perfect, it feels almost like shifting the blame to being like, I'm just like any other human who also makes mistakes. Like, it feels like you're a little, like, you're not fully taking accountability for it, or you're kind of like, yeah, I fucked up, but so what ish, a little bit.
It's pink sauce. Now look at it again.
Like, everyone fucks up.
Why is it pinker? Why does the color keep changing? If you ain't got the recipe straight, if your formula ain't formulated properly yet, you ain't ready for market.
Chef P's initial response to this was,
the color didn't change, just the lighting.
Now, while I agree lighting can have a
that
dramatic
does not look good
effect
at
on what
all,
the
and I
colour looks
like pink.
and so can what settings you put the camera on. As you can see here, you can get a bright pink all the way through to a pale pink from the same photo, depending what your settings are. But it does change the look of the whole photo.
I mean,
not
that's
just
normal.
source.
That's just like coloring.
And Chef P later said that she had made changes to the recipe. A lot of people said they wanted the bright pink sauce, not a pale pink sauce. So we'll tick that one as a valid thing. The next claim, or rather a question that people are asking is Chef P even a chef? Well, I'll let her answer that one for herself.
So I asked my friend, would he hire me to be a private chef? And the next day he called me. He was like, yo, you got a jacket? And then I was like, hell no, but I could go get one. Like the store right across the street from my house.
I don't think you need to be like a chef to make a sauce. I mean, it would be more credible, but like, fuck, if you told me like, if two guys at their apartment just like fuck around and like make a sauce and like, wait, this tastes hella good, like, and then they just remembered what they put in it, that's totally fine if the sauce is fucking good. You don't gotta be like fucking graduated from culinary school or like whatever the fuck, like, unless you claim you're a chef. That's different.
Uniform.
You claim you're a chef.
Real truth. I didn't go to culinary school.
I am a private chef, which means that I do more elaborate, intimate dining situations, you know? I am a mixologist. I am a certified bartender. My first private dining client, like his friends that I went to go cook for him and his girlfriend, I literally still cook for them till this day.
Oh,
my
okay.
first client.
All right.
3 years ago.
Unfortunately, there is no accreditating board that looks at whether someone is a chef or whether they're not. If you want to be a doctor or a nurse or anything like that, there's a board that accredits your qualifications and says, yes, you can work in that field. But that doesn't happen with chefs. So if her boss wanted to let her buy a chef's jacket and call herself a chef...
I think that's totally fine. I don't know about this part of the thing where it's like, oh, they have to be a chef, or like, we have no way to validate if they're a chef. Like, I don't think that fucking matters that much.
No training and no prior experience, you can actually do that, which will be the frustration.
I just see it kind of like software, like computer science or something, where like, you don't need to go to school necessarily. Obviously going to school like helps a lot, especially as a chef. They teach you very like proper ways to do things, or like rules or culinary things, but you can be self-taught totally when it comes to cooking, you know? That's
of every chef listening who actually has a qualification and years of experience, but there you go, that's how it is. So does that affect pink sauce? Well, possibly yes, because had she done training, she may have had a bit more knowledge on food labeling.
Don't use the title for marketing purposes. I don't think you do that. That's what I mean. Like, if you claim you're a chef, or if you claim that you're like whatever, that's totally different than like,
more to do
you're like, oh yeah, I made the sauce, you know?
Is the recipe itself fake?
In order for mayonnaise to get that really creamy, thick texture and that opaque white color, there needs to be an emulsifier.
I'm really good with dressings. So I was thinking there has to be mayo, or at the very least mustard in it. And then I came across this video, which you see something that looks an awful lot like mayo. And if you look at the ingredients list, there is nothing that looks like this listed here. Even if this is not mayo, at the very least, she is using something that's not here to give it that particular color.
Water, sunflower seed oil, raw honey, distilled vinegar, garlic, pitaya, pink Himalayan salt, sea salt, less than 2% of dried spices, lemon juice, milk, citric acid. Yeah, nothing is really falling under white goop
Color inconsistency.
ingredient.
One thing was certain, this was not the sauce that Chef P is using. The color is purple, not the Kirby pink that we were hoping for. Dragon fruit, while it provides color, is
Emulsify
a watery
water
fruit
and
left us
sunflower
with a runny
seed.
broth. But this sauce always appears as a creamy sauce. It's opaque, and it has a similar consistency to honey mustard, ranch, or mayonnaise. And yet, the ingredients list on the package contains nothing that would create a sauce that looks like this.
Chef P uses mayonnaise as the base color to get that Pepto
She forgot.
pink.
I mixed our buddy Hidden
Why
Valley
did they just
Ranch,
call her
hashtag
Chef
not
P?
spawn,
That's
and the
supposed to be her
dragon fruit
name.
together.
So none of them managed to figure out a recipe that used just the ingredients on the label to come up with a nice thick pink sauce. So they came up with the conclusion that she must have just been using mayo and mixing in some of the dragon fruit powder to give it that pink colour. Normally I can look at a recipe and tell you whether it's real or fake straight off without even trying, but this one uses something that I have never tried to use in a dressing before, which is dragon fruit. So I'm going to have to do some experiments. The main ingredients in ranch and mayo are oil and water, but they don't mix together very well. To make an emulsion of the two, you would normally blend the water and then slowly
thank you
drizzle
for
in
the
oil.
raid.
Slowly being the key. You can't just
Hope
dump
you had a good
the oil
stream.
and water
Thanks
into
for
the
the
blender and turn it on, or
raid.
it's not going to create an emulsion. This is an emulsion of just oil and
Thank ya,
water.
thank
and see how
ya.
it now looks white and thicker and creamier than water does.
Aw,
but this is
thanks.
not a stable emulsion. Over the next hour or so,
Hope
it
you
will
had
settle
a
back
great
out into
stream.
the layers of oil and water.
I
Now
just
to
saw
solve
soy
that
sauce
problem,
on
you
my-
can use an emulsifier.
What'd you guys
and
play?
that helps keep the emulsion stable. It keeps all those little droplets separate so the oil doesn't just come back
do.
together. I've got 3 emulsions here. This one is just the water and oil with nothing else added to it, and you can see it's already starting to separate back out.
Wait, I'm missing this.
This one has a 1/4 teaspoon of egg yolk. Came up
Sorry.
with the conclusion that she must have just been using mayo and mixing in some of the dragon fruit powder to give it that pink colour. Normally I can look at a recipe and tell you whether it's real or fake straight off without even trying, but this one uses something that I have never tried to use in a dressing before, which is dragon fruit. So I'm going to have to do some experiments. The main ingredients
Hopefully I
in
fixed
ranch
it.
and mayo are oil and water, but they don't mix together very well. To make an emulsion of the two, you would normally blend the water and then
Blend the water?
slowly drizzle in the oil. Slowly being the key. You can't just dump the oil and water into the blender.
Oh, honestly, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could, in a way, actually mix water and oil. I thought no matter what, it would separate. Hi, Adrian.
And turn it on, or it's not going to create an emulsion. This is an emulsion of just
okay.
oil
That's kind of cool.
and water.
It will
see how
eventually,
now looks
okay.
white and thicker and creamier than water does.
After a certain amount of time.
But this is not a stable emulsion. Over the next
Oh, yeah.
hour or
Okay,
so,
not
it
stable.
will settle back out into the layers of oil and water. Now, to solve that problem, you can use an emulsifier, and that helps keep the emulsion stable. It keeps all those little droplets separate so the oil doesn't just come back together. I've got 3 emulsions
How
here.
do you do that?
This one is just the water and oil with nothing else added to it, and you can see it's already starting to separate back out. This one has a 1/4 teaspoon of egg yolk in it. Egg yolk contains lecithin, which is an emulsifier, which is why a lot of mayonnaises and sauces have eggs in them.
Oh my
in order
God,
to
she's a
keep
real
it all
scientist.
together. Egg is
Dude,
not listed
Pink
as an
Sauce Lady
ingredient
should have
on the
hired
food
her.
source, though, so that is not what she used. To this next one, I added a 1/4 teaspoon of soy lecithin, which is an option if you don't want to use eggs. And you'll see this on ingredients lists as emulsifier E322. Again, that's not on her ingredient list, so not what she used. To this one, I've added a 1/4
Also easy to fuck
teaspoon
up.
of mustard, which is a possibility in the pink sauce because she has spices listed and doesn't say what they are. And finally, in this one,
No,
you
I
can
can't be a
probably guess
scientist.
what's in
Hell
it.
no.
Before I mixed the oil with the water, I added 1/4 teaspoon of dragon fruit powder to the water. Just 1 hour later, I could see that the mustard and the dragon fruit was starting to separate already, so I decided to make up a mixture using the fresh dragon fruit and the oil and make an emulsion that way and see what happens with that one. While we wait to find out, let's do a treasure hunt.
This is about how this pink sauce is made. So the person who made pink sauce basically fucked up the nutrition label, and then also under the list of ingredients had a mayo-like consistency in how they were making it, but did not list anything of that sort in the under ingredients that could produce that type of consistency or that type of mayo-like sauce. So they're like, how did she make it without kind of using mayo or some type of emulsifier like that that's not listed under the ingredients?
A sieve and test tubes. If you like hunting for things, today's sponsor, June's Journeys, includes others. It's much easier to know if you get
Wow,
to
you guys want to play this game? It looks like a... Hey, it's Farmville.
Okay, back to our emulsions. 3 hours later, and the fresh dragon fruit and oil has formed a very stable emulsion. It hasn't separated.
It's totally fine. Okay, sorry, you can't see it, but
has some separation.
This one's been chilling for sure.
Powder, and the mustard is not great with that small amount of mustard.
Oh yeah, the mustard ain't doing shit.
The soy lecithin is very
soy lecithin and egg whites.
Stable, even with that tiny amount, which is why it's so popular. And the egg yolk is pretty good, but it probably needs more egg yolk than I put in it. And of course, the straight oil and water has separated completely. So now let me run that test again with 2 teaspoons of freeze-dried dragon fruit. I only used 1/4 teaspoon last time.
Oh,
look!
Sorry,
at
one sec.
that.
My food is here. BRB. I will be right back. Right, I'm back. Food.
Wow.
I already ate a little bit, so I probably won't eat too much.
There is something in the dragon fruit, probably the pectin, that is acting as an emulsifier. Even 4 hours later, it is still stable.
I got you guys.
Is the one that used the fresh dragon fruit. So that means that she doesn't need to list an emulsifier on her ingredients list because the dragon fruit is the emulsifier. So to everyone who said that her sauce was impossible, it's actually entirely possible just with the ingredients that she had listed. Of course, I've only made
impossible recipe.
Water, so that's going to taste pretty bland and not very nice. If you want it to taste like a ranch, you're going to have to add in the rest of the ingredients, like some powdered garlic and maybe a bit of mustard.
Oh my god, utensils! This is the first time I got utensils from this place. Usually the people who deliver never give you utensils.
How your sauce tastes is going to vary completely depending on how much and what you add here as far as the flavorings. I'll put the proportions that I used on the How to Cook That website. Once you've added your dragon fruit in there, you need to slowly drizzle in the oil with the blender running so that you can create that emulsion. And then you get a really
so useful.
opaque pink sauce.
We all learned how to make mayonnaise or like some sauce
just
today.
The ingredients she had listed on the bottle. Let's give it to Dave to taste.
Cool.
Well, they weren't kidding about it being pink sauce, were they? That is a very 80s hot pink. Here we go.
That's kind of cool.
Dunk.
I would buy this one. Actually made by a scientist.
Is it sort of a bit ranch, like a ranch sauce?
Spicy, but I thought she only put...
a little bit spicy. A little bit sort of westerny type of sauce. It's okay.
Let's look at the next claim.
I suspect that mayo may be acting as more than just an ingredient. You notice the yellow capped squeeze bottles that the pink sauce comes packaged in? Why wouldn't your pink sauce have, I don't know, a pink lid? Yellow is nowhere to be found in her brand, unless your main ingredient is mayonnaise and you happen to have a ton of these yellow capped bottles just sitting around. Repurpose the old mayo bottles, wipe off the label, boom! You've got yourself a brand new product.
If you're rushing a new product to market, you really don't have time to wait for custom pink lids to be made.
This just gets better and better. Like, it's actually such a meme. There's oh wow.
You just have to buy bottles that were already available, like these bottles
she's
with
efficient.
yellow lids and the seals in them. If you have a look at the review videos, you can see that the bottles are sealed when people are getting them.
So it's sealed. Okay, there's no air coming in or out of it.
They are definitely not reused mayonnaise bottles. That claim is completely false.
It's false.
The next claim is a lot more serious, and it has to do with the safety of the product.
And this is definitely a serious
That was real.
Do
that would be
not
God tier.
Eat the pink sauce.
Why not?
Do not eat that sauce. Read up on botulism right now.
Huh?
And Chef Pie, Carly, suspend all orders immediately.
While everyone in digital commentary land is out here telling you all the reasons that consuming the product is dangerous, which, let me be clear, it absolutely is. You should not buy this stuff and definitely don't consume it.
Now, a lot of the fears around pink sauce came from an interview with Ben Chapman from North Carolina University, where he said,
"In food like this, when you see low acid foods like raw garlic or dragon fruit being put in a high oil content, we've seen similar products lead to botulism in the past without any acidification of those low acid foods."
The real key to his statement there are the words "without any acidification." Now, yes, there have been cases of people getting botulism where they've chopped up garlic and put it in oil to use it as garlic oil, but that is not what she is making. You can buy garlic aioli at the shops and you can have garlic flavors in all different sauces, and there isn't the risk of getting botulism.
I thought garlic and oil is like hella common. How is that not like, how is this a problem? Like garlic and oil.
So why is that? Well, it's all to do with the acid level. If you have a pH of 4.6 or less,
raw garlic and oil, oh, like not cooked garlic, or
cannot grow and make the toxin that causes botulism. So if it is acidic, then you are fine. Now, an acid level of 4.6, if we have a look at a pH scale, 4.6 is not that high. A tomato would come in at 4,
especially
and
room
coffee
temperature
would come in at 5. So sort of halfway
I see.
between a tomato and a coffee, if you can think of it that way.
Okay.
Now, of course, water
didn't know
and
that.
the oil that she's
I actually
using
didn't know that in
starts
general.
out as about a 7 at the neutral, right in the middle there. But then if you look on the ingredients list, we're adding vinegar, which is of course an acid, and lemon juice, which is an acid, and on the ingredients you've also got citric acid listed, which is acid. So depending how much of that you add, you are shifting it down the scale so that you have a lower pH and making it more acidic. Now, I don't know what proportions of ingredients Chef P used, but if she used a standard
like homemade
mayonnaise
garlic
type
oil where they
recipe
just
or a ranch
soak
type
the garlic
recipe,
in oil,
it's going to be sitting down at
so
a
just
pH
low
of
heat
around
frying it in oil. Oh well, I think it's because I've seen people would leave like put a bunch of garlic in oil, but they also mix probably other things in it that either brings up the acidity or changes it. So